Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of The Cloudy Vape. In this video we're going to be talking about the IPV4 Diff4 Quattro IPV Quattro by Pioneer4you. I received this from vapevineonline.com. Big shout out to them. If you want to know more about them, look in the description box below. If you want to know about a link to this from them, also look in the description box below. Yeah, it was really cool. They hit me up and said, hey, we have IPVs in stock. You want one? I was like, yes, I do. I want to try this out. I want to check it out. That's awesome. Love those dudes. Yeah, this is an interesting device. There's a lot of hype going on about this, about the temperature control being a pretty decent temperature control, and inexpensive, and it just works well. The only things that kind of bug me a little bit, and I'll just say right now, the menu system, I'm just not a fan of. Not really a fan of that, and there is, I guess the locking feature doesn't seem to be working. I don't know if that's just me. But yeah, overall, build is very nice, very simplistic, and it works pretty well. So let's have a few vapes. Going to be using it first in wattage mode, and then we'll go into joules mode, and check it out like that. So I got a 0.25 ohm build on this Crown Tank by Uel, and yeah, let's do it about 50 watts. Let's check it out. So at 50 watts, works very well. I've pushed this all the way up to 100 watts. Works really well. Nice clicky button. And yeah, so let's switch it up to joules mode, better known as temperature control mode, but it's measured in joules. So real quickly, joules, from my understanding, basically you have Ohm's law and you have Joule's law. Joule's law is basically it's a way to find how temperature is measured through current's measured through temperature. So it kind of coincides with Ohm's law in a sense. Kind of it's a round robin mathematical equation. So basically that's what Joule's law is. And so I was really surprised to see that they hooked up with the Joule's law on here. So it's kind of cool. You can definitely look more. Just Google Joule's law and you can understand a little bit more about what Joule's law is. Same with Ohm's law. You can just Google it on the Google machine. So anyways, without more yapping, let's switch up to temperature control and vape on it with a NI200 build using some nickel wire. I'll be using the Subverter Mini. Alright, so I have a 0.1 ohm coil head in here using nickel wire. I'm going to have it at 40 joules and it will be at 450 degrees Fahrenheit. So let's check it out. So not bad at all. Definitely a little bit cooler of a vape, kind of warm, decent vapor production. It works pretty well. I'm still messing with the joules mode a little bit, and the more I get into temperature control, I'll probably do temperature control videos and talk about the different devices I have with temperature control. But for just the quick settings using like coil heads and stuff, it works decently. You know what I mean? You have the temperature options and it works decently. So no real beef there. So without more yapping, let's dive down. Let's check out the body of this. Let's take it apart, look at it, all that good stuff. Go back up to FaceTime and talk about it just a little bit more. All right, so here is the IPV4. This is the box it comes in. Pioneer4you logo. www.pioneer4you.com. It says box mod. On the side, it will say what color type you have. This one is silver. There's black, silver, blue, red, and gold. On the back, it just talks a little bit about the device. IPv4 device, USB cable, user manual, and gift box. Caution, this is not a toy. And then, just the IPV logo all around. The device is actually not in the box right now, but the device would be laying right there as you open it. You have your user manual. You have your Asmodus distribution warranty. And then you also have a USB charger in the very back behind this. So that is nice. So let's check out the device. So here is the device. This basically the specs on this: 70 to 100 watts, 1 volt to 7 volts. Input current is 1.3 amps to 40 amps. Input voltage is 6.4 volts to 8.4 volts. The resistance, the loading resistance, basically what you can put on here is 0.1 up to 3 ohms. It's about a 1-inch LED right here, OLED, and it uses the Yeehy SX330 version 4S chip. The main features on it are going to be your protections and stuff. Talking about your protections, basically you have low voltage protection, low resistance protection, high input voltage warning, your output short circuit protection, reverse battery protection, temperature overheat protection, and also you have a software upgrade option with your USB port with a GUI operating system on that. You also have temp control, which varies from Fahrenheit or Celsius. So in Fahrenheit, it's 200 degrees to 580 degrees Fahrenheit. From Celsius, it's 100 to 300 degrees Celsius. And yeah, so that is the quick specs on this. So as far as the charging port, which is located right here, it's kind of hard to see. Let me take off the actual panel. Basically, this is your charging port right here. It is 9 volts and I believe 2 amps. 9 volts, 2 amps current for charging. And then, yeah, that is an option for that. And then your USB device, where you would plug in your USB, is going to be right down here on the bottom. That's going to be where you put your USB device. This is your back panel that just slips on. And yeah, that's the device. So as far as height, it's roughly about 100 millimeters in height, 23 in thickness this way. And I would say, 50 or 50 something or so, in comparison to say like the Sigelli 100 watt plus. Let me grab the Sigelli 100 watt plus. Here's the Sigelli 100 watt plus. It is a little bit thicker. You also have this sleeve on it, so it's going to look a little bit different. But as far as like actual size, it's pretty darn close to the Sigelli 100 watt. Just a little bit smaller than the Sigelli 100 watt. Height is about the same. Button placement is just a little bit. It's just your width from this side. Basically, this width is going to be a little bit different. See, you're going to be a little bit, about 4 or 5 millimeters off. So that's the difference of this. Just a little bit more bulkier on the Sigelli, so you have more of a compact box mod with the IPV4. So looking at the actual device, it's made out of a type of aluminum. At least that's what it feels like. And it's kind of a coated aluminum. If you see, it's kind of like a polished with something on it. I'm not sure exactly of the metal build. This is like a plastic. I'm not sure if this is a, high temperature plastic. But basically, if you can't see because it's black on black, it does have a little grooves for grips on it. So the only thing you have on this black plastic part is basically this one little hole that lines up with this charging port right there. And that's going to be it for this section. As far as everything else, you have your clicky button. You have your wattage up, wattage down, and also menu features right there. Here's your about 1-inch OLED screen. And then you have venting at the bottom, and you also have your micro USB for upgrades at the bottom. I don't believe that charges. It may charge, it may not. I believe the only charging port is right there. But this is for your upgrades right there. So yeah, the build is very simplistic. It kind of looks cheaply made, at least to me. The only like real markings you have are going to be these little grooves. Kind of looks like the Pioneer4you logo, or the little grooves from that. So there is your readout. You have your wattage, you have your ohms, you have your volts, and you have your battery indicator. And then down here will say anywhere from like M1 to M5, or adjustment, or also temperature, different things like that. And then you know, it's kind of reminds me of the IPV mini. So what's going to happen is if you press up, what's going to happen is you're going to cycle through those presets. And you know, that's I just disliked the crap out of that for the IPV mini. It's one of the main features I did not like. But you know, it works for some people, and some people like it. Basically, to set it, you would just have to press down when you're on a setting. You can adjust. Once you press down, you can press back up. Fire it once, and then as you scroll through, you will see we'll go back to that setting that we just set. So that's how you set your setting. Basically, whatever setting it's at, press down, adjust to where you want it to be, fire it up once, and then it will save that setting. The next thing to note about this mode, basically if you press both buttons at the same time, it's going to tell you your resistance rating. It'll basically check your resistance rating. In the manual, it says that should lock it. So that is an inconsistency with their manual. Basically, both of these buttons should lock the device, but instead, it basically sets your resistance. From my understanding, that was supposed to only be in joules mode when you're setting your resistance for your temperature. So that's from my understanding. So yeah, it goes all the way up to, let me go down once and then back up. That's how you have to adjust to go up on the fly. It will go all the way up to 100 watts. There's 100 watts. And then we can go all the way down to, I believe, let's see, I thought it was 7 watts. Is it 7? Let's go down. No, 10 watts. So down to go back up. So that little feature of always having to hit down and then up is kind of annoying for adjustment. But, you know, once you have your device set up, it's really not that big of a deal. I'm just complaining a little bit. So that's that. Next thing to talk about, basically that's your power mode, and there's not a lot to, you know, go over with that. If you press your up and fire button at the same time, nothing happens. It'll go dark. Nothing happens. You keep holding it, nothing happens. And then it'll fire again. Okay, and then if you do down and power, again, it'll just start adjusting through wattage. So there's no other features as far as, like, you know, up and power, down and power. But there is a few menu options. 5 clicks will get you into the menu. There's 3 main hierarchies in the menu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There is your, you know, system on right now. You have power mode, and you have exit, which exits the menu. So the system off, basically if you press this or this, what's going to happen is it's going to turn off the device. In power mode, if you press this or this, it's going to go into either power or joules mode. Joules mode is your temperature mode. So what happens is once you click into joules mode, it's going to ask you, do you want Fahrenheit temperature? If you click over, or do you want Celsius temperature, Fahrenheit or Celsius? So because I'm a dumb American, I'm going to say Fahrenheit, and then it'll ask you, what do you want your temperature to be set at? The temperature will go up to, I believe, like 500 and, was it 580? 575 is your max, and then it will go all the way down to, I think, like 200. Let me see, going all the way down, and there's no round robin on any of these you know, scroll throughs. So all the way down, keep going, keep going, keep going. And yeah, so 212 is what it's going to bottom out at. So there is your Fahrenheit. So that's cool. Then once you set it, basically it'll get you into, let's go like 425. Once you say okay, you press your button to set it, press it again. And now it says system on. You want to go to exit. Yep, we already set that. Now exit. Now press over, or press this or this button is basically to activate any of those menu buttons. So now you see joules. Instead of that W, you see a J, because that is your joules mode. So it goes up to 50 joules. And also you have presets just like the other one, M1 through M5 presets. Going all the way up, it'll go up to 50 joules. And joules is just a way to measure temperature based on current. So that is a reason why they pick joules over, just wattage. So if you go all the way down, let's see how low the joules will go. It will go down to 10 joules, so 50 to 10 joules. At this mode, you're going to see voltage, and you're also going to see ohms. You'll see voltage, and you'll also see ohms, and then you also see your degrees. Right, let's see if it'll focus. Yes, so you see degrees right there, Fahrenheit, and then you see your battery indicator just like the other one. So the menu does change up a little bit in joules mode. So basically you adjust up and down in joules mode. So not too bad at all. So I'm going to pop this off. So now I just put a new atomizer on with an NI200 wire. I'm going to put both of these buttons down. Basically, what I'm doing now, I'm in temperature mode. I have a nickel wire, and I want to set my resistance to make sure it's not too hot or the resistance isn't off, because it'll just burn that cotton and burn that wire. So I'm gonna pull down these two buttons. Now it's reading out at 0.11. So now it's set there. And now what will happen is it'll say 0.11. It'll tell me my volts currently, my joules that I'm using. Joules is like another way to measure wattage, but through temperature. So currently 425. I believe that was the last thing we set it. So I'm going to go up to, let's say, 30 joules and fire it at 30 joules. So that is, temperature control with the nickel, basically in joules mode. And in this mode, there's really not a lot of features besides, your readout. You can go back and change temperature, but in this, as you're going up and down, all you're really going to be doing is changing your joules, and you're not going to be changing your temperature. If you want to go and change temperature, you have to go out 5 clicks, go to Fahrenheit mode, basically. Let's go to joules mode. We want joules mode, Fahrenheit, and then now we can change our temperature up. And then once we have a temperature we want, we hit that power button again, and then hit up or down to get you out of that. So again, 5 clicks, and that'll just surf through those. Just keep clicking till it scans through those. Keep going up, set it, and then it says exit. Yes, I want to exit. So then to go back into power mode, basically you go to your mode feature, 5 clicks goes back into menu. That's why I keep clicking this. So every single time you do 5 clicks, it's going to go into your menu, and then once you're in your menu, your power button is going to scan through those 3 options, basically system on, system off, power mode, or exit. So and then once the screen dims, that's something else to show. Let me see, 1 2 3 4 5, we're in our screen. But as soon as the screen dims, it'll go back into whatever mode was currently set to. So let's let the screen dim. Let's see, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, a few seconds off. So it's probably closer to like 8 to 10 seconds. So now basically we were in that menu, but now if we hit fire, what's going to happen is we'll be back in this. So, when it goes in standby, it's not going to save whatever setting you were last on, or not setting, but last menu you were last on. So there's Fahrenheit. I don't want to exit. I want to go to power mode. I want to go back to power. I want to select power mode, and I do want to exit. So let's go to exit. So yeah, this menu, you just kind of have to get used to clicking this button and, these at the same time. Like, as you see, I'm messing up also. I'm pressing this button to, exit things or to switch things up. But in a nutshell, that's basically the quick rundown of this. The biggest flaw on this as of yet I've seen is, you're supposed to have the option of locking by pressing your up and down buttons, but there is no option to lock it. It just in both modes, again, from my understanding, temperature mode should have the set resistance mode, and your regular mode should just be able to lock when you do this. So there's an inconsistency with the setting, I guess, at least from my understanding. But it's what the manual states, and it's not doing. The manual is not following what is actually happening. So yeah, that is that is just a quick settings on there. It's very simplistic, but at the same time, it is in depth compared to, like, say, your Sigelli setups. The thing I do like the most about this is the ohm readout, which it's not going to show now. But basically, it's you know, you get to see to the hundredth, or you know, down to the second power, so to speak. With the Sigelli, basically, you're only going to see, like, if it's 0.15, you're only going to see 0.1 or 0.2. You're not going to see the other number behind it, you know what I mean? So that is kind of cool. You definitely get a more accurate reading with this ohm reader that is built into this than you do with the other, you know, Sigelli type devices, or, you know, any of the other devices that only have the single digit, single decibel number behind the ohm meter. So that's what I do like about this. As far as the top section, you do have some venting, you know, airflow coming in, and it is, I believe it's a brass spring-loaded pin, or it's a gold spring-loaded pin. It looks gold and shiny, probably more like a brass, but it is spring-loaded right there, so that is nice. As far as the back plate, so this back plate is held on by these little spring-loaded ball bearings, and it just clips in nice and snug. So what you would do is basically pull it, kind of hold on to it, slide it out, and then pop it back in, or, you know, just put your thumbs right there and slide it out. That's how you would get that off. And look, I just found a marking. There is the logo for Pioneer4you. Very nice. So popping this out, and you have a little lanyard that gets these batteries out. So just to look at the battery ports, so two 18650s for this. You have spring loaded sections on the bottom here and here. This one's a little, yeah, this one's sticking a little bit. So you have spring loaded contacts, and they do look like they're silver plated contacts. At least that's what I see. These top ones are not spring loaded, but the bottom ones are. And it does have reverse polarity protection, but basically, if you look inside, your negative is going to go down here on this side, your positive is going to go down here, then your negative and your positive respectively. And if you look inside of here, it will show you your polarities and what they're supposed to do. So even if there is reverse polarity protection on this, just make sure that you don't flip them on accident. You don't want anything bad to happen, and you don't want to break the device on accident, you know what I mean? So just make sure you double check the polarities, and double check the polarities on the battery. And if most people don't know, if it's not on the battery, usually this flat top section is going to be your positive, and the completely flat with no grooves or anything is going to be your negative section on most batteries. So yeah, that is the IPV4. It's a great device, and let's go back up to FaceTime and talk about it just a little bit more. Alright, so let's talk about the pros and the cons. So the biggest thing for me right away is the menu system. Me personally, I'm just not a fan of this menu system. You guys might like it, other people might like it. I'm used to very simplistic menu systems, and that's just me. I know some people like really in-depth menu systems. You know, I'm a fan of the Sigelli menus, very simplistic. The only thing I don't like about the Sigelli Sigelli boards, or at least the Sigelli readouts on the actual OLED, is the ohms. Like, I would like to see, you know, the down to the hundredth, or, you know, whatever. It kind of bugs me on the Sigelli that you have, you know, it says 0.2 instead of it saying 0.25, you know. With this one, you have that option, which I do like better. I definitely do. The ohms seem more accurate on this one, at least from using, compared to the Sigelli. You're able to see, you know, the decimal points. You know what I mean? That, if that makes any sense. But the actual menu setup, having to 5 clicks and then click the up button or down button to turn off, that's just kind of annoying to me. It feels like one extra button, but I'm not going to complain too much about that. But it does, you know, I turn off all of my devices, and I say that in a lot of reviews. All my devices shut off when I'm not using them, so it just seems like an extra click I have to do. So ease of use, I would definitely, you know, give it like a 7 for ease of use. And then also the menu. you know, you have to click into the menu, change it up, and it's a little weird. I do appreciate that there's Celsius and Fahrenheit options for the joules mode, the temperature control mode. That is awesome. When you go into that mode, it'll, like I showed you, it'll show F or C depending on what you want to read out. So that is nice. The other thing is, I just don't think these high wattage devices should have charging ports. That's just me. If you're gonna have external 18650s, why would you want to charge it inside of there? You know what I mean? You can charge it. You can be way safer by charging it on a smart charger. You know, a Luck 4 or like one of the newer night cores that actually show MOS and shows voltage. You know, it's just for me personally, I never use onboard chargers, like no matter what. The only thing I would use it in is like the MPV, the iStick, something that has an internal, whether it's a LiPo or an internal battery that you can charge it and there's no way to take it out. That's the only time I'll ever use a USB charger. So for me, I just think it's absolutely pointless. The DC charger and the you know, the USB charger. I know the USB port is for upgrades. I do know that. However, I feel like it should just be for that and not for charging option. You know, that's just my thought. So, and again, this is just a rant about what I like and dislike about it. I believe, you know, I like the plastic. I like that like soft matte rubber on the grip. I do like the ease of just being able to pop out the, you know, the batteries real quickly. That's easy. You know, that's simplistic. It's better than a screw or having to do that. So the actual build, the metal, it almost feels like plastic. You know what I mean? It just, at first it kind of feels like plastic and I'm kind of like, what? So I just have to say the quality of the actual build, the actual product itself just seems a little cheap. It just looks cheap to me. That's all I'm trying to say. But it works. You know, in wattage mode, it works great. In joules mode, it definitely works great. Again, I don't know if it's going to be the best temperature control device out there that you can possibly get. I really doubt that. But it will work decently for what you need to do. And, you know, especially people getting into experimenting in temperature control, you definitely want to keep the cost down when you're getting a temperature control device, but you don't want to sacrifice cost for the quality of the actual functions of the temperature control. So, you know, from what I've heard, that this is, you know, a decent temperature control device, especially if you're new to it and you're just trying to get into it and figure it out. So if this is something that, you know, entry-level temperature control, definitely pick this up, because on top of the decent temperature control setup on it, you also have a really good board. You have a good Yeehee board in it, and you have a good wattage mode in it. So it does work pretty good. But for me, the actual things that bug me are the build, how it looks. You know, it just looks cheap. It looks like plastic to me. The whole outside, the silver part, looks plastic to me. And then, you know, the whole charging thing, and again, that's just me. I just don't think it's smart to be charging dual 18650s in a little teeny box like that. I would rather, you know, just get a smart charger, invest in a smart charger, and that's, you know, that's just me. That's what I think about it. So please don't get me wrong with everything I'm saying. As far as the device itself, for what it is, for the price point, it is a great device. It blows most of the devices out of the water. The current price point, current wattage, current functionalities, it just blows it out of the water for what you can do with it. So the price point is absolutely great. So I'm going to wrap up this review, but I want to give a big shout out to vapevineonline.com for sending this out for review. They also hooked me up with 2 batteries for this device, so I'm just so appreciative, and I'm just so happy that they did that. It's just awesome to see a company just doing cool things. They're definitely a great company, so definitely go check them out in the description box below. They do have some of these in stock. If you're looking at a place to get them, definitely check in the description box below. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. And if you like my videos in general, please subscribe. And as always, stay classy and keep vaping.